Grifter, number 15, written by Frank Thierry, art by Merritt Michaels. Last issue, Grifter got teleported into Belle Reve, aka in front of the Suicide Squad, and now he's got a host of problems. This issue... Okay, so there's a framing device. We'll get back to it. But basically, Grifter's on the run from the Suicide Squad, and this is like set maybe 4 or 5 months ago, so it's still the squad as you stereotypically think of it. And he's being chased down by El Diablo, Deadshot, and Harley Quinn, and I think Iceberg as well. And he's like, all right, this isn't ideal, but maybe I should be able to get away from this. And he manages to lose the squad and starts taking like pot shots from the rafters. And as Deadshot starts trying to shoot him, he uses his telekinesis to redirect the bullets. Harley comes at him with a mallet, uses the TK to attack Deadshot, and Deadshot's like, for Christ's sake, people, he has telekinesis. Can we please stop attacking in a way that he can redirect? And so El Diablo steps in and tries to set him on fire. And I don't even know how, but he manages to redirect El Diablo's fire onto Deadshot, which... okay, and then he just throws up a big TK thing and blasts them all away. Until finally King Shark shows up out of nowhere, starts biting Grifter, and then spits him out and says, oh, I don't like it when my food moves around too much. And as he throws Grifter down on the ground, all the rest of the Suicide Squad members just show up and start kicking him like it was a schoolyard fight. They're like, yeah, take some of this, stay down. So at that point, they manage to get him all roped up, and Waller steps in saying, hey, Grifter, hey, Cole Cash, let's have a conversation. Rest of the squad, get out of here. And at that point, she basically says, now here's the thing. I don't know why you're here, but we used to work on Team 7 together. Please read Team 7. And I'm gonna give you a wake-up call here, because if I thought that you were beyond saving here, you'd already be dead. So then let me get into the framing device story. So we have this basically cult meeting calling themselves the Resistance, where they are being informed about like this secret alien invasion that's going on and taking over all groups of the government. And Amanda Waller is tasked with getting a woman out of this cult because someone very high up in the government is her uncle. And Waller's like, yes, consider it done, sir. I'm already on the case. And he's like, yeah, I'll see it when I believe it. Because your Team 7 days, please read Team 7, did not impress. So she gets into the cult meeting, and it turns out that this entire thing is actually about the Damonites. Like, it is the actual alien invasion that is actually happening, but they're just brushing it off as crazy. And Waller gets in and like says to the girls, like, oh man, do you actually believe all this? She's like, oh yeah, my name's Kelly. I don't believe any of this. I was just trying to stick it to my dad, but I can't really leave now. And Waller's like, why not? And at that point, two big muscly guys step saying, like, can you two ladies please come with us? So at that point, they're being led down a hallway and they're causing some sort of trouble. And then Waller turns on the guy, grabs his gun, and forces the two of them to let her and the target out of there. And Waller lets on, it's like, oh, I'm actually a secret agent, Kelly, and I'm going to save you on behalf of your uncle. And then all of a sudden, this shadowy figure shows up, and this is where the framing device kicks back in, is that Waller wants to show Cole Cash this, and it turns out that the guy who's a shadowy figure that disarmed Waller, his name is Warwick, the same guy who basically told Cole to do this entire espionage thing into Stormwatch at the beginning of this arc. And Warwick just tells everything the truth about Damonites and whatnot. He's like, it's the Damonites, they're doing this thing, he's doing whatever, but he basically tells him, like, you aren't here, hold here against your will. I'm sorry if you felt that way. The door's right there. You're welcome to go. But please take this pamphlet. It is the truth. And so sends it out. And then as Waller's explaining all this to Cole, he's like, yeah, your guy, your dude who, like, sets you on this path, he's been in and out of loony bins and cults and stuff like this for a long time. And, like, Does any of this sound familiar of, these Daemonites and they're experimenting on humans and chosen ones and stuff like that? And Waller's like, look, believe him, or you can believe that all this stuff happened, just don't believe him. He is actually crazy. And he spent all this time inside like mental asylums. And so she's like, all right, that's all I wanted to tell you. Whatever you do from this point on, if you come back in here again, we will kill you. But I'm assuming that you won't be bothering us anymore. So they let Cole go, and Cole's like, all right, I'm going to go get some questions answered myself. Supposedly on the way to go talk to Warwick. And next issue is the last issue, but here's the issue with this issue. It's not good. Okay, so the entire issue that we've had up to this point is that they decided somewhere along the way to just pivot and just say like, hey, remember that entire like first 2 arcs of this book? None of that actually happened. You don't pay attention to any of that. Now you're paying attention from the 0 issue onwards, or when Rob Liefeld stepped in. And it annoys me to such a great extent that like because I don't even know where to begin. Let me just say art-wise, Merritt Michaels, not great. Not at least in this book. All of the backgrounds were like completely empty, and about like 40% of the faces were just not human faces. They were just wrong. So already on a bad streak there. But then just adding on top of it the fact of this book revolved around Grifter going through and fighting the Daemonites. And then in a Superman annual book, they killed all the Daemonites. So like, I get that if you want this book to keep going, you gotta pivot, but they pivoted the wrong direction. Now they went to this whole thing of like, oh, who can Grifter actually trust? But like, there's no mission anymore. They have yet to establish a new mission for Grifter. This is all just going off the old stuff. I don't get it. And frankly, it's not particularly well written either, because half this stuff is indecipherable until you get to this point in the book. And even then, I'm still confused on like, what are they saying here? That Grifter's making up his telekinetic powers? That he forgot the whole first arc? Because, yeah, maybe. I'm sure he did. That he forgot he fought a bunch of Daemonites. They were there. I don't understand how now it's like, no, actually, this guy's just crazy. And he thinks there are aliens. But, like, there were. You saw them. You fought them. You beat them. I don't understand what this book is doing anymore. So, I'm giving it a 2.5. I don't like it. It's just not good anymore. I was into this at one point. I thought it was at least interesting, but it's been a long time since then. So this is a 2.5, and I don't hold my breath that it's going to stick this finale any better.